The years from 1866 to 1870 were a crucial turning point for Mary Baker Eddy. She was exploring her discovery, proving it by healing, and beginning to teach. As she did all this, she was alone, without funds, without a permanent place to live. The Bagley House in Amesbury, Massachusetts, represents the many places that sheltered Mrs. Eddy during this time. This fall, Longyear began a program to restore and preserve this landmark to what it was like when it provided a home for Mrs. Eddy. Our project is in the hands of Dennis Semperbaum, owner of Beacon Hill Restoration.
We're trying to bring it back to that period of 1868 and 1870 when she lived here. The body of the building, the main body of the building with the two chimney stacks, is the earliest part of the structure, which was built in the late 1770s. So it's a wonderful 18th century frame, and the timber frame is completely intact on the inside, which is very fortunate. So that part has been protected and has been maintained over the years. What we're going to be doing to the roof is we're going to replace the wood roof with hand-split wooden shakes. We're going to completely seal it off. We're going to repoint the chimneys, and working our way down, we're saving as much of the original trim on the building. The rake boards that come down the roof, which are bowed. This has a wonderful bowed roof, and the timbers on the inside, the early 18th century frame, has bowed timbers as well that are completely intact. So we're repairing and restoring the rake boards that come down on either side. We're going to end up replacing the corner boards. We're going to hand plane them as they would have been. We're going to use cut nails on them, which is what they would have used to fasten the corner boards, so that it has that 18th and early 19th century complexion that we're trying to achieve. The main body of the building has its original windows, but we're completely restoring the existing window frames, and we're taking the sash out. We're going to completely restore those. We're going to save all the original glass, and any glass that has been replaced that's 20th or 21st century, we're going to use recycled glass that will be in concert and in keeping with the complexion of these original 18th century and early 19th century windows. The shed addition here, which was built in 1837, has suffered some damage to the sill, so we're replacing the front main sill. The two side sills are fine. We're opening up the foundation. We're doing some foundation work. We've had to pour 2 new walls on there, and we've had to splice in some of the corner posts on the far right and the far left. The kitchen, which is over here with the 2 windows that we're looking at, was added in about 1811 to 1817, and then those windows were replaced in the 1950s, but because it is part of the history of this house, we're going to leave those 1950s windows. We're going to restore them. They've been wonderfully grained to look like quarter-sawn oak on the inside, so we'll do some repairs on the inside, and when we do some of the work on the interior, we will touch up that graining and work our way through, leaving that evidence that it did get a facelift in the 1950s. We had done a paint analysis, and the colors that are currently on the building are actually the colors. They are the true colors. The sort of the buff color, beige color on the body of the building, and then all the trim is that dark sort of chocolate brown. So we have the documentation. This was done back in 2001. And so when we put up the new trim and the clapboards, we pre-prime everything, and then we finish paint at least 1 coat on everything before we put it up. And then in the spring, we'll finish paint the entire body, and then that will complete the process.